In this video, we're going to run through the MobileFrame field service solution from a dispatcher perspective and then also a field technician perspective. For the purposes of this video, we're going to keep it fairly short. This solution is very comprehensive and we could spend a lot of time kind of going through each and every bit of functionality. So just to keep it short, what this system does is it allows a dispatcher to create a service call or work order, dispatch it to a technician that has the right skills, the right tools and or parts, as well as availability in order to service that particular call. And then from the field technician's perspective, they're able to receive those calls, they're able to add in any labor, applicable additional other parts, start and stop times, signatures, photos, preventative maintenance checklists, and so on and so forth. So it's a very comprehensive solution. From here on the work order screen, this will show you all of the open work orders within the system. As a dispatcher, you'll be able to go in, filter these work orders for what might be on hold, what might be pending for parts, what might be a preventative maintenance call, and so on and so forth. In order to make a brand new work order that I'm going to dispatch, you would just click on this little plus sign right here. You would identify the customer that you're going to select. And then from here, you're going to identify what the type of work is for this particular call. It could be a preventative maintenance call, a service call, some type of general maintenance. And then depending upon the service or the type of call, you could also have an additional service type. This will help you identify, additional items that might need to occur. You can also flag required parts. So required parts would be anything that you want to ensure that the field technician has with an inventory on their vehicle before they were to head out to this particular call. If I click on Create Work Order, what this will allow you to do is it will allow you to go in and you can indicate which technician you would like to dispatch it to. You can select the type as well as subtype, the start time, the duration, so how long you think it's going to take. And then you can filter it by the employee title, which would be, what their skills are, whether or not they're available, and whether or not they have the correct inventory to complete the job. You can bypass all of those and just send it directly to a field technician as well. So I'll just go ahead and select Todd Everett, and then I will select Dispatch. So what this will do is this is going to save and synchronize this information to the MobileFrame system. From there, what it'll do is it's going to then distribute or dispatch this work order directly to the field technician's device. You can also go in and identify any equipment that the field worker would also receive so they don't have to select it out in the field, as well as the chief complaint or issue. So really, really simple. So once you've done so, then what will happen is on the mobile device, the field technician will be able to receive that call and then they're going to be able to complete it. If in any event a field technician is not able to show up on site at the customer's location or gets in an accident or what have you, we do have the ability of viewing a nice schedule. This schedule could then be used to reassign that work to other different field technicians if you didn't want to go into the other screen. So we made this deliberately look like Microsoft Outlook, so you can drag and drop as you would like in order to reassign work. So now I'm logged in as Todd Everett. Todd Everett is the field technician. Over here on the right-hand side, you'll see all of the open work orders that we have. And then we can see the two calls that I'm scheduled for. So the one that we just dispatched is this 10,021. So if I go ahead and select that, then we'll be able to identify when we were en route, as well as when we arrived. Those could kick off immediate emails or instant messages or text messages to the client to let them know that the field technician is either on site or has arrived, and so on and so forth. If I were to click on equipment across the top, you'll notice that it has the equipment that we added from the dispatch screen on there. It'll have the equipment ID, all the requisite information. We can pull up the equipment history. You can view and add in mileage information. You can also add in work order notes and or service level notes. Work order notes would pertain to the entire work order. Service notes would just pertain to the individual line item that we've selected within the system. Depending upon the type of company, it might be required to service multiple different pieces of equipment on a single work order, which we call a work order segment, and we fully support that as well. What I'll do next is I'll go ahead and identify any parts that might be used. We can go ahead and add in any parts. We can either add them in from inventory, purchased, or indicate whether or not they've been used. We can then search by a description, by a vendor, etc. So if I were to pull this up, we can search all the inventory. We can search an inventory catalog. And from here, it'll show you quantities of these individual parts. So if I go ahead and just select one and add it, It'll add it into the work order, and then I can go ahead and save. We can also go in and add additional labor items. So labor is one of those things that everybody does just a little bit differently. This one happens to have labor types built in with start and stop times. So the different labor types then drive the costs that you're going to be charging your customer for the operation that you're performing. We also fully support rental equipment, so if you're going to be renting out equipment to the customer, this would be for tracking that. As well as we have preventative maintenance. So these are configurable inspection questions that could be asked depending upon the type of equipment. You can even have a work order just for the purpose of doing a preventative maintenance check on a piece of equipment. But if you're servicing it anyway, perhaps you'd want to go in and do a preventative maintenance check. When you're done, you can go ahead and finalize the work order, and it'll give you a nice little review screen where you can kind of review everything before you finish it. So there it has the parts. We did not enter in any mileage, so that's blank. It does have the labor. We did not have any rentals on there. And then from here, it's going to ask us how we'd like to deliver this to the customer. We can go ahead and say email. It was completed on the first call. If there's a purchase order number, we can go ahead and enter that in. The email could be pre-populated or typed in. From here, we can go ahead and sign off that we've done it. We can put in our name. And then we can generate documents. Generating documents would be, if you wanted to print something off and leave it behind for the customer. Again, those could be printed or emailed in addition to the receipt for the work order. And then once you're done, you just go ahead and click on close. It'll actually ask you to confirm whether or not you want it to close or not. If you select yes, then it'll go ahead and close that out, and you'll notice by the little orange indicator lights at the bottom that it's synchronizing all the information back to the MobileFrame environment, and then from there it'll distribute any documents and post the information into the database and web charts and all that kinds of good stuff. So again, this hasn't been an exhaustive tutorial over everything that the system can do, but hopefully it gives you an idea of the basics of the system, and we look forward to chatting with you soon. So thank you very much for your time. Have a fantastic day.